Welcome to Talkin' with Dave. Here's Dave.
Hey, how we doing out there? I hope you're doing great. I hope you're doing great and ain't got no hate. That's what we're talking about today. Oh, that word. That's one of the words I say we need to remove from our vocabulary. The word hate. It's just not useful. It's definitely not positive. And it takes away your propensity to be positive. Yeah, we use it constantly. I hit it. I had the clicker out the other day and just had to take it off. And, in the political season, when this comes out, let's see, it'll be still right before the election. Hate is everywhere. And people are using that term to get what they want. But a lot of times they use it around things. Such a strong word. Does hate really fit? And so I'm going to say hate a lot over the next hour, and then we're going to try to not say it anymore. How about that? I mean, hate is so much rolled into it. I like to think hate is a burrito that's filled with anger and resentment and contempt for something or someone. I like to make food analogies. A lot of the burritos you get, you don't know what's in there. The Southern California Mexican food, it's more pure and authentic. You still don't know what all is in there. Now, I went to Taco Bell the other night and got a big bag of stuff, and I have no clue what was in there. All I know is it was good. And it made me feel guilty after eating it because I'm thinking, oh, there's no telling what all was in there. Hate is the same way. It's a strong emotion. It's an intense feeling of dislike or hostility towards something or somebody. And what it will do, just like that burrito, with that burrito full of anger, resentment, and contempt, it's going to lead to stuff. You think of the food analogy of indigestion. Well, a hate burrito is going to lead to bad words, harmful words, belittling or rejecting that target of the hate. It can be toward groups or individuals or objects. Sometimes it's based in long-standing stuff that really doesn't apply anymore. I don't even know why I hate this person. I just always have. I don't even hate Auburn. Whew. Wow, we may have a breakthrough here. Because hate's just too strong. It's just too strong of a word. And what I say is, when we use it for just regular things, it loses its edge. And I think we do that a lot. I've got a podcast coming up on exaggerations or things that we say that it's not, we're exaggerating. Like, literally. I literally am starving to death. Well, no, I haven't eaten in a couple of hours, but I'm not starving to death. And when we use a word and exaggerate a feeling for it, we take away its power. However, its power remains for people who don't use that word all the time. And so by using hate a lot, we diminish what a strong word it is. I looked up some things, a list of 10 things that people say they hate. Things that they hate. And this is just the top 10. You know what let me do it in reverse order. How about that? Number 10, a countdown. Number 10, they hate unpredictable delays. Like a flight cancellation or something like that. Number 9, bad customer service. You hate it. Being treated poorly, and I guess being treated poorly can be defined different depending on what you're looking for. Number 8, rude or inconsiderate behavior. That's pretty low for that. I don't like that at all. But to hate it, that would be something. The examples they gave would be like somebody cutting line or being rude to like a server at a restaurant or something. They hate that. Being ignored comes in at number 7. Hate to be ignored. I don't know. Sometimes I like it. Leave me alone. But not if I need attention. Being ignored and poor customer service, there could be some overlap there. All right. Coming in at number 6, they hate spam. Not the food. Just, computer spam, or like a robocall telemarketer, stuff like that. Unwanted messages, I guess is a good way to say it. That's number 6 on the hate meter. Number 5, dishonesty. I don't like that. I mean, it's pretty much label yourself if you're dishonest. Number 4. This is number 4 on the top 10 things people hate. Loud chewing. I don't know the sample. I don't know who these people are, but loud chewing is worse than dishonesty. Number 3, all right, traffic jams. Yeah, I get that, especially if you're in a hurry. Number 2, slow internet. Oh, where are we as a society? Where slow internet is number 2. It's only surpassed in the world of hate by number 1, waiting in line. Hell, I see most of these as first world problems. I mean, you're going to deal with all of these. But to use the word hate to describe it, I think it's a little strong. I don't know. I think that's a little strong. So what I mean by all of this is we're using such strong words to describe just an inconvenience. It's an inconvenience. Of course, dishonesty and other stuff. You just stay away from that person. It's a marker for me. So then I thought, okay, all right. And I Googled this 2 different ways. So I'm going to give you a couple of more lists of, these are people that are hated. All right. One is a more, I don't know, it looks like more current events type stuff. And then the second one I'll give you is globally, the most globally hated people. But this first one, it's 2024. Very controversial figures. They're listed as the most hated public figures. Let's go 10-1 again. How about that? So number 10, the most hated, I'm shocked, is Oprah. Oprah! Once the darling of everything. Oprah. And it's because she's several different things. The Hawaii scandal, her whole thing with dumping Weight Watchers. Oh, but does that not instill hatred in you? Come on. Number 9, again, a shocker. Kim Kardashian. I mean, she's not I don't know how controversial she is, but I think maybe that hatred is got in that hatred burrito might be a little jealousy as far as Kim Kardashian. Never seen an episode. Number 8, Kanye West. I can see that. He's got a lot of hate in him. He'll hate on you. I can definitely see that, but I mean, he's still in the spotlight. He got really political there for a while and some bizarre behavior, but I don't hate him. This one that shocked me, it's got this guy's got some hang time on the hate meter, is Chris Brown. I haven't heard anything from him since he roughed up Rihanna. Is anything lately about Chris Brown? He's still number 7. This is a 2024 list too. Number 6, well now this is hot off the presses. Sean Diddy Combs. Puff Diddy. Of course, we know his problems right now, but hated. You could probably run this list next week and it'd be 10 different people. Number 5, one of the most beloved people of the late 70s and 80s, Bill Cosby. We all know the story there. Hated. People hate him. Number 4, Danny Masterson. And he recently sentenced to 30 years in prison for sexual assault. Yeah, that was pretty high profile. Amber Heard. I think this hate is directly related to a love for Johnny Depp, but my goodness. That was, remember when that was in, just, they were showing the trial all day, every day? I mean, they could have done a pay-per-view for that trial. People were drawn into it, and they hate her. Number two. Let's just put number two and number one together. Number two is Prince Harry, and number one is Meghan Markle. The list of the most hated people of, and I read it again, of the U.S. and U.K. media. And it's, I mean, what a waste of time. I mean, I think of all of these, and it's just like, it's one that I think this is an example of where hate is overused. I mean, most of these people just turn the channel. Most, and several of them are out of, I mean, when's all this time? I think you heard of Chris Brown. I don't know, Bill Cosby or Danny Masterson. Yeah, I mean, they were in the news, but to physically list them as someone that you hate. Now, let's talk about the world. This is the whole world. This is 2024. 10 most hated people in the world. Are you ready? Let's go to 10. I'm going to get to my point in a minute. So coming in at number 10 globally is the president of China, Xi Jinping. Number 10. His human rights abuses and all of that stuff is what they list as why he is so hated. But even his own people hate him. They're just not allowed to say it. And so, yeah, number 10. Number 9 is Andrew Tate. I quite honestly didn't know this guy's name, but I watch a lot of reels and I see him on there. Andrew Tate is number 9 as far as the most hated guy, and he's the guy that he has a bunch of women on his show, and then he takes up for the masculine side and he says some things that are considered sexist. I think he's a black guy, so I don't know if it's racist, but it's sexist, and it's one of the most popular podcasts he's got. But he's number 9. He's more hated than the guy from China. Number 8, still Ted Bundy. We're still hating Ted Bundy. A serial killer, yeah. I mean, there's reasons to not like him, especially if he killed one of your people. But this is, what is that, 70s, 80s? And he's still there. All the other pictures are color, and he's in black and white. It's so old. So, Ted Bundy. It's number 7. Brace yourself. In the world, Justin Bieber. Now, I thought I hated Justin at one point. I thought I hated his music. I don't hate him, and I don't hate his music. Matter of fact, the other day, there was a catchy song came on, and I was just, kind of, doing one of these, maybe snapping my fingers or what, and my son was with me, and he went, "Oh, you like that, do you?" "Oh, you like it?" I went, "Oh, no, who is it?" He went, "That's Bieber, man." And my son likes some of his stuff. Yeah, if I didn't know who it was, I probably would have loved the song. And again, but I don't hate him. I don't hate him. This comes from all over. So number 6, Martin Shkreli, Shkreli. Martin Shkreli, number 6, most hated person. Now, I don't remember his name. I see his picture, so I remember his picture. This is the guy that was the pharmaceutical executive that increased the price of a life-saving drug. All of a sudden, it was he jacked it up like 1,000% or whatever, and just made a fortune off of it. This guy's hated. Number 6 in the world. Coming in at number 5, Kim Jong-un, North Korea. This guy, to be hated so much. I mean, it just human rights offenses. Clearly, he's a dictator. And I hear he's not near as bad as his dad or whoever the guy was before. But Kim Jong-un is number 5. This one shocked me. Number 4, most hated person in the world, Joe Biden. I mean, come on. I don't care what your political affiliation is. I don't hate the guy. Policy differences maybe in some situations, and how things are going. I don't know how much he had to do with it or not, but from a world standpoint, he's number 4. Number 3, I can believe this, Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin. I can't believe Justin Bieber's on the same list as Vladimir Putin. Yeah, for many reasons, Mr. Putin. Number 2 is Nawaz Sharif, the former prime minister of Pakistan. Yes, and a lot of that is just corruption. So corrupt. They consider him over there, and understand this is worldwide. And there's a lot of people over there. This is why this is so high. But just a political elitism while his people are struggling. Like the same way with North Korea, I guess too. But that was number 2. I was shocked. The biggest shock for me is number 1. I don't know him. I've never heard of him. His name is Daniel Hernandez, and his rapper name, I guess, is 6ix9ine. Number 1 most hated person in the world because of his involvement in gang activities, promoting violence, and his flamboyant persona. So all of this, I go back to, okay, that's a lot of variety in what is considered the most hated people. I gotta ask, when you're thinking about hating somebody or something, how frivolous most of this is. Like, who or what are you hating? And why? I just think back to why do you hate them so much? And the answer can't be, oh, just because I do. I just do. Why? And I think if we analyze that, much like if we analyze our toughest challenges or whatever, why is this so tough? But why do I hate? Think of something. Take a minute and think of something that you hate. It's tough for me. I mean, I guess celery. I don't really hate it. I just don't eat it. If I had to eat it, I would not like that experience, but I don't hate it. I don't hate anybody. I really don't. At some points when I was immature, I did, or I thought I did. But think about it. Who or what do you hate? Why do you hate them so much? And then, does that reason why, is that really impacting you now? Do they really have a large impact on your life? And it could be maybe they've done something to you. Maybe in worst case scenario, maybe they took the life of someone you love. Now, I can maybe identify with that a little bit. But most of these things are frivolous. I could go through all 20 of those people we just named. They wouldn't be on my list, but also they have no impact on my life. And then the thing is it worth your time and emotion to feel that way? Now, I know we talk about drama, we talk about all different kinds of things here. And, separating that out, usually when we have a strong or misplaced emotion, it is emotional. It's drama a lot of times. And a lot of times it goes deep. But over time, we lose track of, how did this start? They're like Hatfields and McCoys. Fought for generations, generation after generation. And really, they didn't know where it all started. And then usually, when you go back to something like that, it started over something so minor that's not even a big thing. Some people just like to fight, and that hate drives things. But humans are prone to hate, and hate's a strong word, but they're prone to hate because There's a lot of things. You've got evolutionary things. You've got psychological or social factors. And hatred it can be so destructive, but it also comes from some deep, ingrained survival instincts. Or my identity is around my disdain for something. A lot of it is fear. A lot of it is fear of something happening or something not happening, and we don't know how to classify it, so we just hate it. And that's, I mean, I don't want to get too Freud on you. The thing is, there are some reasons why we humans are susceptible to hate. I mean, it's almost like the way we're wired. Some more than others, some bigger hate than smaller hate. But a lot of it is our instincts. You know, protecting from threats. We learn to hate something as an avoidance, or to be aggressive toward it in the other way. You know, just a survival mechanism. You know, our ancestors, they evolved quickly to identify real threats, and it was a survival technique. You know, something or somebody or something was a threat, you would push hate on it to make sure everybody didn't want it, to avoid it, or to eliminate it, or to attack it. And it's how you get by. And the whole group, us versus them mentality. That's where hate sometimes comes from. It's an us versus them. Either we've been wronged, or we're better than them, or they are a threat to us. A lot of times that's just an evolutionary instinct of ours. So it's common to hate. It's built in. Then another reason why we are prone to hate is just the fear of the unknown. We don't know. And what we don't know, we don't trust. And what we don't trust turns into hate. It's unfamiliar. We can't put a label on it. That's why a lot of people, someone new, before you know, I mean, someone new comes to a situation, and I've been that person before. Yeah, we don't know this person. They seem nice, but I don't know if I can trust them, or what are they up to, or all of this stuff. Maybe it's a jealousy thing, or they may take my position, or they could be a threat. Okay, I'm just going to hate them. How about that? Until I figure this out. Let's go with some straight hate for this person until I can figure where to put them. And that would be, you know, that's where prejudices would come in. You know, you want to put them in a box, but you can't really. So you make up stuff. You know, I think they're probably this, or I think they're probably that. But it's negative. Because if I don't like them and I can't figure them out, I don't want anybody else to either until I get a handle on this. And this is where it's tough to be new somewhere. Because certain people are going to do that because of the fear of the unknown. Leads to the propensity to hate. Then also, another one would be if you're frustrated with a situation or someone, and that way you can just put it all on them. You use them as a scapegoat. You know, they cause the problem. You know, it's just you're being aggressive instead of understanding. And so people, different obstacles, you know, that can frustrate you. And usually someone will blame someone else. And if you're unfortunate enough to be blamed for that, well, all right, well, you're the scapegoat. And people, if that's all they know of you, okay, well, they're prone to hate you. People want to blame others for their problems. Well, once that blame piles up, you're a target. You're a target for hate. I know people, I'm not going to talk politics, but I know people who hate Trump for reasons that they've been told that may or may not be true. People hate Biden. He's number 4 most hated person in the world. I guarantee you most people that hate him never met him. However, he is scapegoated to a lot of different people. A lot of people blame him for problems that he had nothing to do. Instead of investing the time, it's easier just to hate. Okay, I'll hate him too. Yeah, who do we hate? Who do I need to hate today? And it's easy. It's kind of lazy, really. Hate is very lazy. Then the other thing is another reason we are prone to hate is just because we like to belong to something, and people they'll derive meaning from a group, whether it's their culture, a nationality, an ideology. And so when someone else's beliefs are different, we feel like we're at odds and we have to defend how we feel. This is where a lot of the debate out there turns into hate or aggressive behavior or yelling or calling names, things like that, because we just think differently. We belong to different trains of thought or schools of thought. And it's the whole us versus them again. And if we're not confident in where we stand, we're threatened by someone who feels differently. And the easy way out is just to hate them. Just to hate them. You know, instead of spending the time. You know, a lot of people, you can't, when you're butting heads, I love intellectual debate. And I come half-armed in an intellectual debate. But anyway, it's better than what it's turned into. You know, it's social media, even the discourse in the election right now, it's just unbelievable. But social media, you can go out and bully anybody you want with no repercussions other than to be bullied back verbally. That's why we've got to be strong. I mean, I'm seeing people coming out now saying, "Hey, we need censorship. There's no one to control what's true and what's not true." Well, you can control it by turning off the computer. You know, no one's going to bully me. They can say horrible things, but I'm not affected. I think it's easy to be effective. I've done a series of podcasts around toughening up. Don't let it bother you. Don't let it destroy somebody you don't even know has a difference of opinion. What a worthless emotion hate is in that regard, because you don't even know these people or things or whatever. So influence around social and cultural condition is another thing that gets us. And what I mean by that is hate can be taught and reinforced in your family. I mean, of course, in the community or anything, but I know racism will have a line to where, I know in my family generations ago, things were said that you couldn't say right now, and it was just commonplace. I think that's true in a lot of families, and we don't do it. We've ridded that from our vocabulary, and our feelings and our life experience has taught us. Come on, that's a crude way of thinking. And I guarantee you the opposite is true with other family. Racism is such a waste of time. I mean, what a meaningless and destructive thing it is. However, it is passed down through generations. I think college football has deteriorated in a lot of ways just pure hate. Alabama, Auburn, yeah, it's fun to act like you hate each other. I think it's real now. I think it's turned into that, and you got families that pass it down, but also other things. Hating of a certain group, hating of a situation. And I don't care if it's race, it's politics, it's sexual preference, all these things. The way you feel, it's passed down, and you're being culturally conditioned to hate, and it's bad. Then your personal experiences. If you had a personal experience where you were attacked or harmed in some way by a particular group or a particular person, that can definitely lead to hate. And I would say in some cases, rightly so. And then some people will use it for control. If I can get you to hate a person or a group, and I can stir that hate up, which is what a lot of you see leaders doing. They need to be a victim, or they need to have a foe. And if I can get you stirred up to hate them too, then I have more power. It's very strong. I mean, look what Hitler did. Gandhi did the opposite. Gandhi tried to make everybody think about being kind to other people. Mother Teresa, she stirred that group up, an anti-hate situation. Yeah, I wish that were the rule, but it's more the exception. And so you can go to all these reasons of how hate is just part of culture, and you're taught to hate. It's strong, and it's pretty sad when you think about it, but it's very common. And so I don't like it, and I think if we can look at some ways, we're not going to change how culture looks at it. We're not going to change, definitely the world looks at it. What we can do, though, is understand how it affects us personally. That's all I do here. It's all about a personal thing. And hate is not productive. It's the opposite. And that's, I'm into personal productivity here. So let's talk about how hate hurts us, and then we'll talk a little bit about how maybe we can push it over to the other side a little bit. Hate is known. People who have strong grudges or intense hatred, and they're there. And I may be preaching to the choir here. They have a very high risk of physical risk to their health. I mean, hate is like stress. It can eat you up. It messes with your mind. It makes you more tense. It will break you down physically, definitely mentally, but physically, it will have a toll on you. I mean, your body with stress, we've talked about the hormones that it releases, the cortisol and adrenaline and all that. I mean, those are good. Those are good things. However, just this chronic angst and hatred, it will increase your chance for a heart attack, definitely high blood pressure. It will also weaken your immune system. Hate can make you sick. So there's one reason. The other thing, another one is just the emotional drain. The effort it takes. Because hate's just not something, oh, I hate that. No, it's, oh, I hate that. Oh, I hate it so much. And you work yourself up. And just the fatigue, it'll wear you out physically, but emotionally. Because it's all negative. There's nothing good or positive about hate. Now, you think, oh, well, but what if someone I hate has, something bad happens to them? Still negative. It's still negative. And is it enough? Is it ever enough? So we've got to learn to deal with it. So for physical reasons, for emotional reasons, and then hate can get to the point to where you're almost possessed. I've seen it. Certain people, I know some people, and I'll contrast a couple of different people. I know a couple of couples, that went through a divorce, and on one side there is just so much angst and hatred between them. They say horrible things, and I've not been through it, so I can't even comprehend it. A very similar situation happened with another couple, and they the same thing ended both marriages. We'll just say that. But this couple is amicable. Just just didn't work out, and the same situation. So it's different people handle things different ways. With this one, it's almost the guy is almost just possessed with hatred to the point to where he's almost mentally unstable. Not just because he hung out with me for a while. That's how bad it can get if we don't get it in check. And what's going to happen when you're this way? I mean, if you've got a lot of hatred, you're negative, period. But if you're spewing hatred toward anybody or a group or just hateful speech, your relationships, nobody's going to want to be around you. Yeah, it's just they'll have to walk on eggshells because we don't know what's going to set you off. Or definitely don't bring this up around Harold. Oh, he's going to lose his mind. Your social interactions, they're going to go away, and that'll lead to God knows what. And then the other thing, you're when you're stuck in the past, and hatred usually is because of things from the past, either done or implied or passed down. You're limiting yourself. You're limiting your relationships. You're limiting your potential. If you're young, just think. I mean, you're hurting your career and the potential for a happy life and a family because you're filled with hate, and you're teaching. God forbid your kids. They're learning hate from you, and so it's just bad physically, mentally, socially, in every way. Hate can consume you. And one reason I did all that at the first, when we minimize hate, it's actually exaggerated. And what I mean by that is, if we hate everything, all right, well, it doesn't mean anything. You're used to saying that. You are seen as a negative person. Hate is a strong word. And so it's very important for us to understand the words that we're using. And being a hater is a death spiral. It is. So, that being said, I want to talk. I want to talk a little bit about what do we do. What do we do to offset it? I mean, I did a real quick thing that, earlier. Just okay. What do we hate? Why do we hate them? What is? I mean, is there a valid reason why I hate this person or this thing or this situation? All right. How does that reason really? Are they still impacting me? I just don't listen to Bieber. I got this political hate going on. I just don't listen. I don't watch the news. You know, is it really affecting me to the point to where I can't do anything about it and I've got to live with it? Okay, well, is this worth my time or my emotion or my peace or my joy or whatever you want to talk about it? Usually when you think about that, it's such a small piece and it really doesn't have an impact unless you want it to. So hate, this is a quote that I just came up with. Hate is a choice. You can choose not to hate something. I don't care if your family always has. Hatfields and McCoys. You know what? I'm not going to hate them anymore. And hate is a verb. It's active. It's something you do. You can choose not to do it. And if you, and a reasonable person, if they'll go back to the things in their life that they hate, you can talk through it. And if you're reasonable, you can turn that off. Keeping it off is another thing. But it's also a lot of the negative things in your life, things that are obstacles that are getting in your way, getting in the way of your productivity, getting in the way of your relationships with others, getting in the way of your career goals or your social groups. What's getting in the way? You can go through that. Why do I do this? How's it affecting me? And then can you turn that off? Can you stop? That's just a quick way that I've done. But when you look at strategies to get over hate, I want to go through 5. I'll give you 5. One would be look at yourself. Be aware of yourself. Take time. I don't meditate, not because I don't believe in it. I think it's a wonderful thing. My meditation, I've said before, is getting a cup of coffee in the morning and going out at the picnic table outside and just think about the day. What do I want to do today? And I usually err to the positive, and I have things to do, and I'm excited to do them. It's difficult to think about what's best for me and have a peaceful time, it's difficult for that to be full of hate. I'm not going to get a cup of coffee and go out back and think of how much I hate Roger because something he did back in 1984. It's not going to happen. I went through a real time where I thought I hated Tim Tebow when Florida was beating Alabama. I didn't hate Tim Tebow. I sure don't hate him now. I got one Christmas when we beat him and he was crying. I made that into Christmas ornaments and put them on the tree. See, it's funny. I don't hate him, but when we're practicing some self-awareness and taking a break, it's hard to hate when you do that. Another thing you can do, and this is a technique that is especially helpful, not just with hate. And I know none of these are new. They're the same ones I always say, maybe just in a little different way. It's important to reframe your negative thoughts. You can do that. And by that I mean it's when you look at a person or a situation that you supposedly hate, focus on it a different way. Try to understand why they are the way they are. Try to understand why this hurts you so bad and you just can't get over it. And once you look at it from their perspective, it helps you reframe it. You still don't have to like it. I don't know why they do it that way. Why would they do that? Well, maybe they didn't get enough hugs as a kid, or maybe it was a desperate financial situation, so they tried to take shortcuts and ended up screwing me. But if I was in that situation, I might do the same thing for my family. So reframe it a little bit and see it from another point of view. That is especially effective with any negative thoughts that you have. Once you tear it apart a little bit, the individual pieces aren't near as strong, So that's reframing the negative thoughts. Another thing, if there's a lot of angst and hate going on, limit your exposure to that. And by that I mean, if you got a bunch of people that hate the same thing and you're trying to reduce your hate, the hate meter's going crazy right now, but if you're trying to reduce that, being around other people who feel that vitriol, that's not a good thing for you. So reduce that. Spend time or less time around them or like-minded people to the negative. Reduce your exposure to these negative thoughts. If you're all stirred up, it's what I said about the election, turn off the news. Or, you know what? It's the same news cycle all day long. I'm going to catch 30 minutes at lunch, or I'm going to catch 30 minutes at a certain time. I would not suggest doing it right before you go to bed. And then that's it. You're not going to hear anything new. And if you do, you can catch it up tomorrow. But limit that. If you've got racist friends, stay away from them or limit that. If you've got people that are racist, sexist, homophobes, whatever, limit your exposure to that. And then all the other things that could create the hate. Another thing, and I love this, just like I said, when you're thinking about your day and how well it's going to go and what you need to do, it's hard to have a lot of time for hate in that moment. I got my cup of coffee right here, you see that? Also, engage in acts of kindness. Do things. You remember the gift that keeps on giving? That one. Do things for people. Be nice to people. You don't have to go buy gifts because all this stuff is free. Speak to people. Smile. Smile. That's free. You've got an unlimited supply of smiles back there. Use them. It is very difficult to engage in acts of kindness and hatred at the same time. Stay busy. Volunteer for something. There are people are constantly needing something positive, and it's something that you can give. And if you keep your schedule busy, you don't have as much time for the hate, and you feel good. You're around positive people. It's going to be tough for hate to exist in that situation. And then the biggest thing, The biggest thing. And I have people I know in my life constantly who struggle with this one. Learn to forgive. Learn to forgive. Oh, I would not want to be held in judgment of when I am at my worst or not my best. Have some empathy for the people that you dislike or hate. It's holding you back. You will reduce your stress and your resentment and your torture of your potential if you can just learn to forgive. You're not going to forget a lot of times, but I'm not going to hold myself hostage to something they did to me. You can still blame them, but until you forgive, you're not going to be over it. And I know a lot of you are thinking, you are out of your mind. You don't know what's happened to me. You don't know what that person did to me. You have no clue what that institution has done to me. You have no clue how I was railroaded by that HR department. And I was fired and I did the right thing. That kind of stuff. It stays with you. Until you can forgive that, it's still going to get you. And it's not them getting you. It's a self-inflicted wound. So the best thing you can do to rid yourself of hate is forgive. Engage in acts of kindness. Limit your exposure to negative influences. Reframe those negative thoughts. Have some empathy. Think maybe this is why. And then just be aware of what you want to accomplish and take a minute and have a peaceful moment. Those are some things that I really believe will eliminate or at least vastly reduce hate and its impact on you. It's going to get you, man. It's going to wear you down. And your family, your friends, they deserve better. They really do. And you deserve better. So I hope this helps. I've said hate more in the last hour than I've said in the last 10 years. But I hope I got my point across, because hate can creep in and you'll find yourself upset with something. And if you don't address it, it can turn from an inconvenience into being, I'm pissed off. Now I'm mad. I'm really mad about this. I hate this. Don't do it. Don't do it. It'll creep up on you. Alrighty. Thanks so much for listening. I appreciate it more than you know. And reach out to me, david@otalks.com or dave@otalks.com. I'm on the Twitter, the Instagram, the TikTok, all of those things. So I appreciate it. My wonderful intern, Kira, is not. I'm putting these out 2 or 3 a week now, so she's got her work cut out for her. She's doing a great job. But thanks for everything. Thanks for the support. But most of all, thanks for talking with Dave. Giddyup.